Welcome back to another episode of This Is My Why. I have an amazing guest with me today. I'm very excited to introduce to you guys Sam Ibrahim, CEO of Arrow Group of Companies.
Correct.
Scarborough raised, we were just chatting. So I'm from Toronto as well. So it's really nice to have somebody from here that has built what you've built. So I'm very, much looking forward to hearing your story, sharing a little bit about yourself and how you kind of, found your purpose.
Awesome.
Yeah, so let's get into like a little bit of your early childhood background. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, again, thanks for inviting me. I started off like a lot of immigrants that came to this country. I was a young kid. We came from the Middle East, Egypt. Mm-hmm. That's where I was born.
Nice.
And we moved into Scarborough. So kind of the Markham and Lawrence East Scarborough area. It's a rough neighborhood, mostly Toronto community housing. We grew up in those circumstances, kind of that environment. So that kind of shaped us. Mm-hmm. We kind of learned from that at an early age. I remember there was always kids over at my house.
Yeah.
They weren't my friends.
Oh.
But the funny thing is I learned as an adult that those kids were having troubles at home and my mom would just have them over. So I used to tell my mom all the time, and this is my mother who didn't speak a word of English.
Wow.
Didn't really understand what the kid was going through, but just knew for some reason that this little girl, her door was locked because her mother just forgot to unlock the door. And that's kind of like stuff that happens in the hood.
Yeah.
So it was all the time. And I mean, now I look back and I realize that our family was kind of like the solid. We were kind of like the pillar of the building.
Wow.
But back then I'm like, well, why are these kids here? I hate sharing my dinner with them. This kid's greedy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But it was so insane to think back and look back and realize who we were in the community. Because for me, I was always like, we're just the funny ethnic guys that no one seems to talk to, right?
Yeah.
But we played a much more important role. So that was always a memory of mine. But that was life in the beginning. Yeah, I grew up, in Scarborough, in Toronto.
Any siblings?
Yep, older sister and a younger brother.
Okay, so the three of you and then all the other neighborhood kids.
Yeah, so I'm the middle child. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that? Did it play a role?
Look, you know what? They say apparently based on some studies, the middle either does well, he does really well, or he does like a total disaster. Like he's a black sheep of the family. Yeah. So I guess being the middle child can be an advantage. Yeah. But no, it was good. It's great.
That's amazing.
I'm very close with everyone. Yeah.
So you're close with your siblings as well.
For sure. Yeah.
So you guys grew up this way, and then take us through like your journey of school. Like, was there a pivotal point? Like,
you know what? I mean, I was very local. So I went to the local public school, local high school. Then I went to University of Toronto at Scarborough.
Nice.
I went to UTSC.
Okay.
I was, back then, like, I don't know about now, but back then, 75% was good enough to get into school. Yes. Like now the kids are geniuses. They're all like 99%.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what happened to these kids.
It's a different story. Yeah.
But I got a 17-year-old son who's like worried about getting in. He's like 92%. But
my gosh.
Back then we would get in pretty easily.
Yeah.
And I went to U of T Scarborough. And then when I graduated, I actually, the pivotal moment was I was looking for a call center job.
Okay.
That was kind of the good job.
Was that like your entry job or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was the only job I could find.
Yeah.
It was the only job that hired people with no experience. So the goal was to get a call center job in a bank.
Okay. It's very similar to my story. Actually, I wanted to work. I don't know what it is. I wanted to work at the bank too.
Yeah. It was like you were told, like you were pulled away and said, you know what, if you get a job in a bank, you're going to be fine, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that was my goal in life. It was like, you know what, if I can get a call center job in a bank and then maybe become the call center manager, and then you know what, I'd be set. I'd be set, done, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like searching for these bank jobs, and then I went to an employment agency.
Okay.
I met this lady, and she's like, I got a bank job for you, or I got. So I interviewed for the job. I did this test.
Okay.
And then based on how I answered and the test results, she said, you know what, maybe you should work at the agency, helping people get bank jobs.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, I just want to work in the call center.
Right.
She goes, I think there might be something more here. I think you could work here helping people get jobs in banks. So it was an employment agency.
Interesting.
So she saw something in me. She was the first person that saw something more than I saw in myself. And so she was my manager. Her name was Shaman. She was my manager.
You were how old?
I was like 24.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 24. Fresh out of school, kind of. And then 2 years later, we decided to start our own company, an employment agency of our own called Arrow.
At 26.
Yeah, and we partnered together. So that first lady who I met and decided that I shouldn't work in the call center. I should work in the agency. We ended up starting our own agency together.
Wow.
And that's kind of like the moment in my life that kind of changed the trajectory of my whole life, because it allowed me to think completely different.
Yeah.
Like mindset totally shifted.
What was your parents' thoughts when you told them?
Crazy. They thought I was crazy. Like, what about the bank?
Your stable job.
Yeah. What about stability?
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, I know. And like, I mean, it was at the moment when I left I don't know, can I say Ronstadt?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. When I left Ronstadt, which is at the time was the largest in Canada.
Right.
The largest now in Canada is Aero. So yeah. So
amazing.
But back then, my parents thought I was crazy to start my own company. They thought I was absolutely nuts, right?
Yeah.
I just had a son, so he was probably 3 months old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know, young, like I was 25, 24, 25. My wife was like 21, 20, you know, and he was a newborn.
Wow.
And
you decided this is the perfect time to start my own company.
It must be out of your mind. My parents, literally, you must be crazy. You got a good job, you know, you're doing okay. You know, what on earth are you doing, right? I'm like, if I don't do it now, I might never do it.
Yeah.
So I started Aero. I probably had enough money to burn for 3 months.
Okay.
And that was the idea. Look, if it didn't work out, I'll go back.
Right.
I'd crawl back and beg for my job back.
Right.
And you know what?
Yeah,
It's been 18 years. I have not to go back. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's kind of the story. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So what type of, did you guys experience any challenges starting?
Look,
or it was just
rough.
like, yeah.
It was very rough. So if you remember, your history on recessions,
Yes.
I walked into the 2008 meltdown.
Of course.
Right?
I remember
Of
that.
course.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So if you're in the mortgage business, if you're in the real estate,
Yeah.
if you're in anything,
Yeah.
you know what? 2008 was the meltdown.
Yeah.
So I literally started the company at that time.
And people were getting laid off. Like I remember.
It was reverse.
They were losing their
No one was getting jobs. Everyone was losing their jobs, right?
Wow.
So that was a scary time. So 2007, 2008, the global economic meltdown. We're in the middle of that.
Wow.
And then again, we're building a company. Banks had, I guess the temperature for lending
Yes.
wasn't nearly as good. You couldn't get a loan. You couldn't get a small business loan. You had to just kind of bootstrap your way through it. So even though there was some success, it was always marred by the fact that we were always broke, perpetually broke.
Wow.
And even though
you kept going.
there was no choice.
Yeah.
We had no choice.
Yeah.
Because you're almost in too deep. Now you have staff. You have a team.
People relying on
you. You have
you,
an
yeah.
office. You're renting an office, and you have a lot of responsibility.
Wow.
And you have to move forward.
Right.
So we pushed a lot. In the beginning, it was rough. Even though all this stereotypical stuff. Slept in the office. Didn't change your clothes for a week.
Yeah.
all the stuff you
Yeah.
had to do in the beginning, I did. But at the time, I still call it the best time of my life.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It was like a wide-eyed bewilderment. It was just
Yeah.
happiness because you were doing something that you thought was really special.
Yeah. How was that with having a newborn?
It was rough.
Yeah.
And the worst part was his brother came a year later.
Wow.
So
It's also rough for your wife, I imagine. When
Yeah.
you're home with two toddlers,
It is rough. I feel like I made it up to her now.
Yeah, you should.
I feel like I paid it back, but you never know. Yeah,
That's
but
a lifelong journey.
But that was rough. It was very rough. It was two small children, like literally like Isaiah and Gabriel,
Yeah.
two small kids.
Amazing.
Just started the business, and we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Do you find that you share these stories with them now? Like, do you go back and
All the time.
Yeah.
I even have little pictures of them in the office.
Yeah.
While they're like in their stroller.
You used to bring them in?
Yeah, and I'm like
Yeah.
pushing the stroller while
Wow.
I'm doing on the
But
computer.
this is the thing, and
Yeah.
this is what nobody sees this, right?
No,
they
no.
they see Sam now, and
Of
they
course.
don't know the story behind it, right?
You're right. Yeah. You know what? I tell people that I'm a 20-year overnight success.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took 20 years to be an
It's
overnight success.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you guys went through this very challenging
Yeah.
time. When did you start feeling like, okay, we're coming out of it?
The reality is I didn't really feel solid until probably about 2015, 16.
Wow.
So yeah, like 2015, 16, we were finally able to tap into institutional funds. So American,
Right.
mostly American.
Okay.
We were able
Interesting.
to. Yeah, I know. We couldn't get it in Canada. Like the numbers that I was talking.
Somebody, please, help the Canadians.
I'm
Yeah.
not joking.
I agree with you.
I've spoken on
Totally.
panels. The Globe and Mail spoke to me. And I'm like, look, if you're talking about that $10 to $50 million space, Canada can service you. But if you're actually aiming for bigger stuff and you start talking into like the 9 digits, 10 digits,
Yeah.
they look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
They look at you like you're absolutely
true.
out of your mind.
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind? Are you Ted Rogers? You don't look like Ted Rogers.
Yeah.
So why are you here, right?
Right.
Yeah, like Ted can get the billion, but you can't get the billion,
Yeah.
right? So Bank of America, they stepped
Wow.
up to the plate, right? And that changed it because we were able to build a company that, resembled a great company. It wasn't just a company that was
Right.
nice. Because I always hated the brackets around
Right.
success. Like, it's like, oh, this podcast is great for you.
Right.
This podcast is great for someone who's never done a podcast. Or, this business is amazing for an immigrant.
Right.
I hate that stuff.
Yeah, when people put you in boxes,
Yeah, I just want to
yeah.
be, this is amazing.
Yeah.
End of discussion. You know
Exactly.
what you're doing is amazing. So I didn't always want to have that appendage
Yeah.
to what I was doing. So hooking up with the banks in America, they really allowed me to run the business the way I wanted to, and that allowed us to expand. So
That's
we got into the research business, we got into professional sports, we got into pro boxing, we got into furniture, we got into design, and that's why now we created a group of companies. But back then it was impossible to make those investments.
I'm gonna just ask for a little clarification.
Yeah.
So you have micro companies that specialize in employment in these specific areas?
No, completely different businesses.
Like completely different. Okay, got
The
you.
first business was staffing, temporary
Gotcha.
labor. The second
Gotcha.
business was political research. So we got into the research business. So basically just asking people who they're voting for,
Right.
American elections. And then from there, it just kind of grew.
Amazing. Whose idea was to go to the U.S.? Like that's such a outside the box thought. Like who would think this isn't working? I'm gonna go,
Well,
down there and ask.
The advantage we had is we had Nike here in Canada. So they were our biggest client in Canada, Nike.
Okay.
And then they wanted us to come to the U.S. and
amazing.
service them out there.
Got
So
you.
everything in the U.S. is like 10 times larger.
Yes.
So
Yes.
for us to go from Canada to the U.S., and this is Memphis. So Memphis is not, you may not think of it as a business hub, but it is a logistics hub. Like Memphis is the geographical middle of the United States for like highways and stuff like that, right?
you.
So they have these massive facilities there. So the Nike facility is like a 4 million square foot facility,
Right.
massive opportunity. But you need millions and $100 million to fund that type of growth.
100%.
And
Right.
that's where the U.S. expansion came from. It came from the business we've done in Canada to kind of support those companies in the
Right.
States.
I mean, yes, but it also takes a lot of self-confidence to be
Yes.
like, I'm going to go and do this and execute.
You're right. Look, my map was always north-south. It wasn't really east-west, to be honest.
Right.
I never saw the Maritimes
Yeah.
as a place that was my next stop in business. It was always Ontario, and let's go to the States.
Wow.
So that was kind of always the idea. And we've been very successful in Tennessee, in Texas, in actually
Wow.
the map is here, but somewhere here. But
Yeah, actually, yeah, I do see
Florida.
it.
So our global headquarters is in Florida.
Oh, I did not know
And
that.
so we've actually become a much bigger company in the
So
US.
you're a global company.
Well, you know what? US, America, Colombia, and England.
Amazing.
UK, yeah.
Any aspirations to go Asia?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for us right now, like our European expansion is our focus. So UK is easiest, no language barrier, stuff like that. So we've
Gotcha.
been in Europe for a little while now. But the ultimate goal is Asia and South America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's real opportunities
I think
there.
so too.
Yeah.
I mean, my mind just went there because, most call centers, everything has shifted down there.
I know.
They're running the show.
I know.
Right?
And again, those call centers went to like the Far East, and then they kind of came back a little bit, right?
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
a lot of them are in South America now,
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm,
Oh,
like Honduras, Colombia. Like there's huge call center, even Mexico.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you've built out this company. You have kids,
Yes.
a family, a wife. How do you find time? And then we're not even at we're at the tip still.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
all the
yeah.
things you've managed to build here.
I mean, you have to make time. Like you have to be vigilant with your time. So you can let it get away, because there's always something to do.
Right.
There's always something to do, right? But like I really cherish, my time with my children, with my wife, with my friends, with my family. And yeah, there's been times where, business has had to come
For
first.
sure, yeah.
But like, for the most part, first of all, I actually try to kind of commingle them a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it's like a work function, but
Yeah.
I kind of make it a family thing too.
You do it that way, you get both,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I kind of squeeze them both in there. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that's amazing. I think, the fact that you're accessible, like I walked in, you're doing a tour.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you don't see that. So you're still very hands-on.
Yeah.
For sure. And again, it makes your employees that much I guess, connected to you, right? And the vision.
Well, for me, it's an example. That's people ask me my leadership quality or leadership style. It's just by example. Like, I feel if I show it,
Yeah.
people pick up on it. Yeah.
Did your parents have an entrepreneurial background by any chance?
No, not really.
So you picked this up like on your own?
Yeah. Believe it or not, my biggest inspirations for business are rappers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No joke, man. Like Jay-Z, Damian Dash, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Like, those were my guys. When
Yeah.
I grew up, they were the moguls.
Yeah.
So when
true.
I got a business lesson from P. Diddy.
Yeah.
He would talk about run your own company. You know what? Write your own check. I'm like, this guy's making sense.
Yeah.
And, Damian Dash, him and Jay-Z started Rockefeller together.
Yeah.
I literally still remember him saying, no one's going to value you as much as you value yourself.
Yeah.
So those were the lessons. Master P. Like, I don't know if you guys are probably too young.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you know these
you're
guys.
speaking
Yeah.
their language.
But like, these were the guys.
Yeah.
Like, it was never Warren Buffett and Bill Gates
Yeah.
and Steve Jobs. I
Yeah.
barely knew what an iPod was, but
Yeah.
but
No,
I
I
but,
got
but
you.
I knew whose album was coming out next, and I got a ton of lessons from
Yeah.
rappers. But I know, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it. The show The Apprentice.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that.
I know. It's almost kind of sad to say because that was Donald
We're
back when he
dating
was cool.
ourselves, yeah.
Because like Donald was cool back then. Yeah,
You're
But
fired.
The Apprentice was good lessons.
no,
I would
for
watch that. I'm
sure.
like, this is great.
Now they
I
have
love
what,
it.
the Dragon's
Dragon's
Den and,
Den,
like, Shark
and
Tank,
yes.
Yeah. So what's your hope? Like, so you want to help the next generation? Like, where are you at right now?
Well, for me, building is what's important to me. Like, I really do get a real satisfaction out of building companies, building it with partners, seeing them attain some of the goals that they want to attain. That's really what's most important to me. Like, I started the school in a U of T campus, so the entrepreneurial school is now
Is this
called,
the education center?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about that. Is it
Yeah.
open?
No.
Okay.
So it should open in a few months, actually, probably in I think April of 24.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
What
so-
was the inspiration?
Honestly, the inspiration is what I consider a real lack of business opportunities in Scarborough.
Yeah.
Right. So
Agreed.
Scarborough is about 1 million people. It's about 1 million people, and historically Scarborough's kind of been the place where the workers sleep, and then they go to the respective cities like Markham and Mississauga
Yeah.
and downtown Toronto to go work.
Right.
But Scarborough's not really a business place, right? So for me, setting up a school at U of T in conjunction with U of T
Amazing.
to create an entrepreneurial center where students can learn entrepreneurial studies, learn about diversity and equity and inclusion, all these things that if you're from here, you know that anyway. You're living that anyway,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
And then applying it in the community. So the idea is, they're trained, they practice where they're trained.
That's amazing.
Right. So if they're trained in Scarborough, they'll set their businesses up in Scarborough.
Yeah.
And that's why I set this company up here. Like, we reached a point where I could have put this company anywhere. I could have put it in Miami if I wanted to, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for me, it's important for other people, if I want to tell them to invest in this community, for me to be in the community, for me
Right.
to stay in the community. So that's the inspiration behind the school.
Right.
And what I'm hoping for is it builds the next leaders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So is it a part? So somebody would apply to the program? Is that?
Yeah, so it'd be part of the business program.
Okay.
So when you take a BCom or I guess undergraduate,
Yeah.
you do finance,
Right.
Management, entrepreneurial is just one of the courses of study.
That is so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish we had that when I was in school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I was like,
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to work for myself, but
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what that is. So
And
become.
the business program was
Yeah.
business admin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's completely different.
Remember admin?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I'm going to photocopy stuff? Like,
Yeah.
what's business admin?
Thank you. I just remember stats, like
Yeah,
statistics class, and being
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah.
But like it has nothing to really
You're
prep
right.
you for the journey of self-employment in any
You're right,
in
you're right.
any regard.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Right.
Wow, amazing. Okay, and let's talk a little bit about your passion, because I see basketball everywhere, including
Yes.
your boardroom.
yes.
So tell us a little bit about it.
So basketball has really, I love basketball. I'm a huge basketball fan. I'm like a day one Raptor fan. And but I've used basketball almost as a way to connect with our community, which sometimes I wish we have a better synonym for community because I say it all the time, but
No, I got you.
but community, right? But
Right.
I mean we opened up these courts here in the office, small basketball courts.
Yeah.
And it was really just for my kids. I just did it so my kids can have somewhere to play because they couldn't find anywhere to play, right?
Right.
And then their friends would come and their teammates would come.
Yeah.
And then before you know, we have this thriving, hub of basketball players. And then when we had this warehouse open up just down the hall,
Right.
I converted to a basketball court. So that I called it the playground, which you know, I
Right.
started this business, the playground.
Right.
And that became, several facilities. So now,
Yeah.
it's actually the largest private basketball facility brand in the world.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
State
You've
of the
seen
art.
them. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's the idea. Again, you know what? Like, why can't we have nice stuff?
Yeah.
Type of attitude, right? So
That's amazing.
So we
So you're
built
giving
this up.
back.
Yeah. And then what happened was, so in Canada, there's a pro league,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called the Canadian Elite Basketball League. So they had approached me about potentially doing a pro basketball team.
Got you.
In Scarborough, and I said I don't think that's a viable option. I don't know if that's something for me. I'm more interested in the grassroots level. I'm more interested in the kids. I'm
Right.
more involved at the grade school, high school level. And it kind of went away. And then, no joke, like a year later, OVO calls,
Yeah.
and they call, and, the type of call you take. And, on the phone is like literally the guy, the man, the guy himself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And, they're like, let's do a Scarborough basketball team. And I'm like, you guys want to do this?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in.
You changed your mind.
I'm in. I'm like,
all,
okay, so
yeah.
you're gonna do it? So me and you are
Amazing.
gonna be partners. I'm like, he's like, yeah, we'll do an OVO, Arrow.
Like, we're talking like Drake.
The man, Champagne Poppy.
okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah. So I'm no exaggeration.
Yeah.
I get a message.
Shout out Toronto.
Yeah. And it's like I think his address is public, but you come to 24 Park
Yeah.
Lane. 24 Park Lane. I think everyone knows where he lives, right? So I get it. And,
I think you can find
and
it
the
on
thing
Google.
is I look and I showed them, I go, that's Drake's address, right? That's his home, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I'm going there in an hour.
Amazing.
And I'm going, and you know what? And literally, you drop in, and
Yeah.
and you're sitting there, and you're talking about starting this basketball team, the Scarborough
Yeah.
Shooting Stars, right?
That's
and,
amazing.
And it was amazing. So
Yeah.
so Nico, which is famously Drake's best friend,
Mm-hmm.
me and him are really hands on. We're running.
I
this
see
team.
that actually. Yeah.
And we're building this team. And in our first season, we lost in the championship.
That's okay.
In our second season, we won the championship.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we won the whole thing, right? So it was like one of the best experiences of my
Yeah.
life. So like you're owning the team again. It doesn't really pay in dollars. More pays in love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get paid in love because you can't
No,
really count the money.
I think
yeah,
that
yeah.
translates because, and I think it's a great partnership because you both give so much back to
Yeah,
Toronto, right?
exactly.
And it's exactly what you said. It's about staying here, being connected, and, doing what you can to provide for the people here, give opportunities for the people here. So I think it just naturally makes sense. I
Yeah.
think that partnership.
Yeah, and it was great. And of course, like as you can imagine, like they are like the marketing gurus. They're like the social media juggernauts. I'm
Right.
an operator, so I understand the staffing. I understand the operations. I understand the business behind professional sports.
Right.
And together, it's been a really good partnership. Yeah,
That's amazing. So this is the Shooting Stars.
Scarborough
So
Shooting Stars. Yeah.
Where's the, the hopes of where you can build that up to?
Well, right now, we play out of Pan Am, out of so basically U of T campus. We're building an arena.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we're building an arena just right here in Scarborough, and it's going to be like a 5,400, so smaller arena.
Where in Scarborough?
So it's right now it's at 350 Concilium.
Okay. Oh, I
is-
know where that is.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is right there by Town
Huh.
Center. So
yeah, there's the towers there, right?
there's 3 towers, and then
Right.
there's a corner with nothing on it.
Okay.
Right now it's
That's
being
a
used.
great location,
It's
actually.
perfect. It's being used as a parking lot. Yeah.
We
So-
have enough parking lots. No more parking
Especially
lots.
over there. There's so much parking. So much
Yeah, in
ample
Scarborough.
parking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the arena's going to go there. So it's going to be about 5,400
Amazing.
seats. Yeah. So if you've been to Paramount, Fine Foods, or Hershey Center,
Yes.
it's about the same size. It'll feel
Nice.
about the same. So it'll be our arena, which is again, I mean, basketball is only, half of it, or not even a quarter of it. What it really is like an entertainment hub.
Nice.
So we're talking about concerts, ethnic concerts, like
Yeah.
even youth sports, WWE, boxing, like you name
Amazing.
it. We're gonna run it out of that arena.
That's the perfect segue because I'm about to ask you about your boxing and the love for that.
Oh, yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
I'm noticing that's the other thing that
Yes.
you're building,
Yes.
right?
Those are my 2 favorite sports. So basketball and boxing.
Got you.
So boxing, we run a pro. So we manage pro fighters,
Mm-hmm.
and we run boxing facilities. So our big facility is actually in Houston.
Okay.
It's about a 2,000 seat arena, and we've got some great fighters. We don't have any champions yet, but we're very close to
Right.
to one of our fighters becoming like a world champion. And then it's grassroots. It's grassroots. Like, I mean, for me, boxing, like, and again, I have young, not really young anymore, but I have kids.
You're right.
And do I want them to get punched in the head all day? I mean, I don't know if I do, but
No.
but boxing is, I mean, it builds confidence. It's great exercise. It helps other
Yeah.
sports.
100%.
So I love boxing as as a discipline that kids can learn. So we try to incorporate it into even basketball.
That's
Like
smart.
the basketball kids should also know how to box.
Yeah.
It's just toughness, just general toughness, right?
Yeah, and I think just reaction time and you're fast. You gotta be
Yeah, there's in shape and then there's boxer in shape. Like it's a different level.
Yeah.
Like what they can
The level
what
of
they can do.
discipline,
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
amazing. I love how you have fused your passion
Yes.
into your day to day.
Yes. That actually helps.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be stressful, right? Sometimes it can
Yeah.
be tough.
Do you box yourself?
No. I would
You just
say,
like to watch.
safely say never. Yeah,
No, it's okay. I was just curious.
no, big zero on that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's
no,
okay.
I play basketball a lot, but I don't box at all. I've never put the gloves on and actually punched someone.
Yeah.
No.
No, for sure.
Maybe a bag. Yeah.
Mixed martial arts? Is that next?
Definitely not. Oh, no. You know what? I actually think boxing is like pure. I like MMA.
Yeah.
But sometimes I can't stand those rolling around on that mat for hours.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Yeah,
That's
like
fair.
sometimes but I mean, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a bit gruesome.
Yeah.
It can be rough.
It's not for me either.
It's not
I
for
can't
me.
watch.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always like, oh
it's
my
like poor
God.
guys getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like boxing better. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. So you're building out your company. I would say, do you feel like you're in a good space where you are career, family?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's never perfect. It's always balancing.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the beauty of it, right? It's always a challenge.
Have you ever been back to Egypt?
Yes, I have. I was just there. I was just there on March break,
Yeah.
and it was the first time my kids were there.
Wow.
The first time
what
they,
was that
they've ever
like?
seen it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was. They saw their grandparents. They met some of
amazing.
some of their uncles, some of their I
Aw.
guess granduncles, granddads.
That's amazing.
Second cousins. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
I'm
was great.
curious because I know your love for Toronto runs deep or Scarborough runs deep.
Yeah.
But, is there any, plans in the works for possibly something that ties Egypt and here?
You know what? It is always something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah,
I mean, it's tough. The political climate there, it's
Yeah.
harder
for sure.
to do business out there.
Right.
I mean, even now, which is the current events, right? Like it is not the best place to do business.
Yeah.
And you find that you're dealing with a lot of corruption, honestly. You're dealing with a lot of corruption. So I mean, it's something I'd want to do, but it's not like
Yeah.
a priority right now.
No, I got you. I hear that. So your sons loved it?
They loved it. They
Yeah.
loved it. They loved the Nile. They loved the pyramids. They loved
so
the
much
history.
like so much.
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Amazing energy.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, it's one of the best places to visit. The street hustlers are aggressive.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you don't want to be a woman in those places.
No.
Oh my God, the harassment.
Yeah.
Like, and my poor wife, she's a white lady, so she's getting destroyed by these
Yeah.
guys, right?
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, it's like leave her alone, leave
yeah.
her alone, man.
No,
She's
they
not
don't get
interested. These guys, it's like
Yeah.
it's like they just think that. I go, does this work, buddy? Like grabbing women's arms is that
no,
effective?
no.
Has she ever
In this
been?
day and age,
Has she ever been
definitely
like,
no.
oh, thank you?
Was it her first time?
It was the first time in Egypt.
Oh no.
Yeah. And she's like, what's wrong with the Egyptian men? I go, I don't know, but they don't represent me.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I got no idea what's wrong with these guys. They just
Oh,
tug
wow.
on them. I'm like, she's not interested, buddy.
Oh wow.
But I don't know. I guess it must have worked because why would they keep doing it, right?
Yeah, or it's
Super
just, sometimes it's a
aggressive.
cultural thing. Like,
Yeah,
you just
super
don't
aggressive.
Get it. Yeah.
Like
no.
I would be uncomfortable if she was out there alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like walking around like downtown Cairo alone.
Wow.
You get harassed.
Wow.
I don't think it's overly
Good to know.
Yeah, I don't think it's unsafe, but it's annoying.
Yeah.
Annoying as hell. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Thank you for pointing that out. Good pointer for me when I go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll make sure. So I want to talk a little bit more about like your purpose and your why. So this podcast is titled "This Is My Why." Before we get into that, though, I feel like just from hearing your story, you've kind of always lived your truth. You've lived your purpose. You know, your parents told you don't do this, you did it because you wanted to do it. And that's kind of where your mindset was at. Was that something that you've always had? Was that something you had to learn? Like,
You know what? I mean, I just learned from a young age that people are failing at stuff they don't like.
yeah.
So you might as well fail at the stuff you do like doing, Like everyone seems to not be where they want to be in life, or I mean,
Yeah.
at least back then, right?
Yeah.
And everyone was facing challenges and everyone was struggling. It's like, well, you hate your job, you hate your
Yeah.
neighborhood, you hate everything. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Right? So I learned young that, just follow what you want to do. Be who you want to be. At least go for it.
Yeah.
So you know what? I am an advocate of going for it.
Yeah.
You know, and I push. There's there's no other way to put it. Like, I am a pusher. I try my best to get what I want. I'm actually surprised when I don't get it, because I'm just getting used to getting what I want.
Yeah,
you know, like,
exactly.
because you know what, I just know the buttons to press now.
Yeah.
I've learned, and you know what, I just tell people all the time, like, look,
Yeah.
all that stuff you learn when you're young about not telling people why you want to do stuff, or not
Right.
vocaling your why, like not telling why you're passionate about this, you're just doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
Because the more people you tell, the more, you don't know who's going to help you.
Yeah.
You don't know who's going to inspire you.
Exactly.
So I tell people loud and clear kind of what I want out of life and what I'm hoping to achieve.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes I might come off as like greedy, but the idea is that I don't know where that next opportunity is going to come
Right.
from, and I don't know who's the next person that might inspire me, or I could inspire them. So that's always been kind of my motto.
Yeah.
Is to be open about, you know, and be intentional about what you're doing.
I like that because, you know, I have conversations with different people every day. And I find I'm finding in a very pivotal like situation right now, post-COVID. I feel like a lot of people are waking up. They don't want to do the, you know, like maybe they thought the 9 to 5 was the safety net, but I feel like a lot of people are realizing this is not what I want to do.
Yes.
You know, and it doesn't matter about age. You know, today I had a conversation with a 54-year-old, and she said, you know, I'm thinking about retiring, but I don't want to necessarily retire. Maybe I'm going to do what I've always wanted to do. And I thought that was a really interesting comment, right? And I said, why didn't you just do what you always wanted to do? And she's like, I wasn't raised that way. My parents were always, you know, and I could immediately relate because, you know, I think our parents mean well when they say, okay, go to school, get a job, and da-da-da, and then get married and have... I think that's changing. I don't even know if my kids are gonna decide to get married. Who knows? You know, like the whole like picture is changing, right?
100%.
So I find that what you said could be true for anybody, really, at any age.
Agreed.
You know,
Agreed.
So I'm glad that you shared that. A lot of people don't have that insight, especially at an early age.
I think it is interesting, and I think we're in an interesting time.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I know people are saying, are we in a recession? I think, you know what? We're in a bit of a reset. Like, the way things are now might be the way they are going forward a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And we have to get used to it.
Yeah.
So, you know, being adaptive, you know, adapting to change. You know what? That's where the growth is.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with change, and a lot of people, if you're reluctant or if you're resisting it, you're going to be in the same spot.
Yeah.
So just accept it.
That's a good point because it's true. I find we get stuck, right? We get stuck in what we want and we're not able to move past it, and it takes us longer to adapt.
Exactly.
And so do you do like any kind of like meditation, journaling, gratitude, like practice? Is there anything that you do to kind of wire yourself a certain way? Because I feel like, you know these are things you're naturally doing.
It's funny that I don't do anything. I don't do anything. But you know what? I'm telling you, I am the best at moving on. Like, I'm on to the next one faster than anyone else. Like,
really?
It didn't work out. Let's go. You know what? It's kind of working out. Let's go. It's maybe not working out. Let's go. You know, like I just kind of move on. And you know, I don't get stuck. Like, I don't feel any self-pity.
Yeah.
I never feel sorry for myself. I don't expect people to feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
You know, that's where we came from. Like, you know what? No one was going to save us.
Yeah.
You know, we had to fend for ourselves. You know what? We had to be there for ourselves. And that's given me a lot of strength, because sometimes people will tell me, or some of my colleagues will tell me, it's like, Sam, you know what? You didn't even give it a chance.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're moving on. We're moving on. I already forgot about it.
So I'm
It's gone.
laughing because this mindset is great. The kids of today,
I know.
tell me, what are you telling your sons? Like,
I try to tell them that.
Yeah.
But you know what? They just sit there and they
That's
just
why I'm asking
and
you.
they just focus and overthink.
Yeah.
I'm like, forget about it.
Yeah.
You know what? Whatever her name was.
Yeah.
You know, like, move on, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? That's the thing, because I want to be cognizant of their feelings and of anyone. You know, if a young person, you know, woke culture, I don't want to sound overly insensitive.
Yeah.
But I also know real life.
Yeah, we're from a different time. This is exactly
and
it, right?
real life is not waiting.
Yeah.
Like, real life is not waiting
move
for you.
on. Please
It's
move on.
moving. You know
Yeah.
what? The planet is moving
Yeah.
regardless if you want to move with it or not, right?
Yeah.
So either, you know what, you can sit there and, you know what, you can wallow in your sorrows and, you know, it didn't work out, or you can just keep moving, moving, right? So I've just, like, I mean, has there things that have hit me that stopped
I was
me
just gonna
dead in my
say.
tracks? There has. But I respond as fast as I possibly can, and I try to move on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kept me, you know, agile, I guess, in this world. Like, I don't think, you know, running this company and kind of balancing life and stuff, I don't think it's for everyone. But if there's one characteristic that you need to have is you need to be agile. Like you need to be able to pivot, and you need to be able to adapt. Like those are the lessons that I've learned. Like it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter how much it hurts, or it doesn't matter how much money you've lost. Like if you can't, like how you deal with it is more important than the situation itself.
Yeah.
And the way you deal with it's going to judge if you're going to be successful or not.
How do you deal with it?
Well, I mean, most of the time, look, I try to fix stuff. I accept it, you know, so I can be very accepting of stuff, right? Like, you know, I recently let go of my best friend, not my best friend, but a very close friend.
Wow.
And you know, I didn't want to
recently?
happen. Yeah, like a few months ago. And we were very close. And, you know, the lines were blurred, you know, friendship and business and all that stuff. And I let him go. And you know what? It was crappy, but he had to go. And then, you know, he posted this nonsense.
Oh no.
Online. And he did an interview, and he like totally slandered me and stuff. And everyone's showing it to me. Everyone is showing me the interview. And I'm like, you don't think I've seen it the first 100 times? I've seen it. You know, and it's burning. Like it's burning.
It hurts,
this was your
right?
boy.
Yeah.
Like, this was like one of your boys. Yeah. But you know what? I didn't do nothing. I didn't message him. I didn't say a word to him. I just moved on. I'm like, move on. I'm like, old news. Yeah. What am I going to do? I'm going to be mad. I mean, it seemed like everyone else was more mad than I was. Yeah. You know, like my brother showed me, look what he said about you, right? I'm like, look, man, the faster we can move on, the better, because this is just bothering everybody, you know? Wow. But you know what, but there's situations like that is either I can sit there and confront, which will go nowhere. What's that going? What purpose is that going to serve? It's not going to get me closer to my goal. Yeah. So what's the point? Just to, like, you know what? I hate those. You know, I mean, you know, I hate to call it like, you know, macho, you know, toxic masculine things. Man, I'm the least guy for that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I don't need to flex. I don't care, man. You know what? Yeah. You win. I'm out of here. Yeah. You know, it's not really about, you know, who's more tougher and stuff. It's just like I've chosen that this is not getting me anywhere. Yeah. And I'm going to move on. And that's kind of been the way I've kind of governed myself. That's powerful. It's powerful for kids. Rarely, the youth of today, I feel, need to understand this because I think that's very powerful because you're not allowing yourself to get sucked into the negativity. Yes. You know? Yes, you're right. Yeah. Like, because just negativity will breed negativity, right? Yeah. Like, that's all that's going to happen. Yeah. And then are you better off after? No. You're going to feel like shit. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And then you often feel bad about things you've said. Yes. So it's like, it's very regrettable. Yeah. Yeah. It becomes very regrettable. You're right. That's I'm you know, finding that I'm learning a lot myself actually. And it often happens when I'm doing these interviews, so I'm always like reflecting on the spot. No, it's interesting because I feel like these are the things that really kind of define a person, and I feel like this is what sets you apart. You know what I mean? Like, so these are things I'm hoping people pick up on and incorporate into their lives, right? Yeah, I hope so. So that's awesome. All right, so we've spoken about your company. We've spoken about your passions. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, what your goals are for like the future. You know, I know you're building out the education system, and you know, you have so many things on the move, but like, what is your bigger picture? Like, what's the legacy? I mean, there's already quite a legacy, but you know, that's a great question. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's about, you know, building this company and helping other people achieve their goals, like through our partnerships, right? So that's how we've identified our growth. Yeah. Through, you know, associating ourselves with someone who wants to build as well, and you know, we build with them. That's been kind of almost my mandate for the last few years, is help people build their businesses, right? You know, and that's what I really love. Like I'm a builder. You know, like I love building. I love the climb. I'm not necessarily excited when we finally get to that goal. Yeah. Because you're about the journey. Yeah, it's kind of anticlimactic for me, right? Yeah. But for me, it's about building, right? This is where I find that it's most fun. Yeah. So, you know, even taking like the team, like the basketball team to the championship. Yeah. That was, you know, when it actually happened, it was amazing. But it was that route, that road we took to win the championship. Right. So that's kind of my goal. Like if I told you there were certain numbers, I mean, look, you know, they put my name on the school at U of T, right? And U of T Scarborough, if you know the landscape, is primarily South Asian, Asian, Arab, African, you know, that's the bulk of the school, right? Yep. So you know what, I mean, there's a sense of pride that those kids, people from our community can see a name that's not Thompson
representation is huge. Like,
so
yes.
things like that's 100%. important. So you can be an example that way. It's not always about Schulich or Osgood or these schools.
Exactly.
Right? So
well said.
So that was important to us. But I mean, for me, it's just about building as far as I can, building it as big as I possibly can.
That's amazing.
Are
you driven by numbers? I just caught on to that portion. I'm just curious. Is that a goal as well?
You know what? There was a goal. We had a goal to be Scarborough's first $1 billion company.
Yeah, and you did it.
And we hit it. So then I kind of looked around and I mean, the next real magic number is probably Canada's largest private company, which is about $8 billion.
This is a privately owned company?
This is a privately owned company.
Amazing.
Yeah. So Canada's largest private company, that would be a cool goal. You know what?
Yeah.
I mean, wherever it takes me, I have absolutely no issue. I'll tell you something very funny. There's this ranking of Egyptians who live outside of Egypt.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, you know what? You made our list of income or whatever, right? And I said, I don't want to be on your list. And they're like, why don't you want to be on our list? I go, because it's not about it's not about your list.
Yeah.
I go, there's one ranking. That's the Forbes ranking.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is this where this is going?
Yeah, that ranks the richest people on earth. I want to be on that list. I don't want to be on a list that has people that make it because they're Egyptians who don't live in Egypt anymore, or something like that, right? So it's just funny to me. I'm like that would be awesome. Even Toronto's 50 most influential people, right? Yeah. I'm like, you know what? That's a cool list to make. Scarborough's Walk of Fame. These are cool accolades because it includes everyone.
Yes.
It's inclusive. Yes. You know what? It's just everyone, right?
Agreed, yeah.
So I mean, there's things like that are interesting to me. Yeah. I'm competitive. So you know what? I'm into it. But I mean, but ultimately I don't have a exact number that I'm chasing, because that number I kind of hit last year or a couple of years ago. And it was cool and it was awesome. But again, it was more about just getting there. When we got there, it was like,
onto the
now
next.
what? Yeah,
I can see that. I think you're about pushing as much as you can with your boundaries.
Yes.
That's a good way to look at it, because if you have a number and you get to it, then what? It's exactly it. Then what?
Yeah, it can be exhausting, but you know what? It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. It's a fun existence. Yeah.
$1 billion company. When did that milestone hit?
21.
Amazing.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah. And again, it's cool. Do you know Mustafa the poet?
Yeah.
Ever heard of him? Yeah. So he said something funny because I don't know him, but I kind of know him. And he said that he goes, Sam, that's amazing, but isn't it sad?
What?
And I'm like, explain. He goes, don't you think there'll be way more? Look how big Scarborough is. Look at the community.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's also something bad. That's something that is a shame in the community, right? And I'm like, you are right. You are right. It's kind of like, something to be proud of, but also it also highlights that this region is underserved with businesses, So that's kind of the goal too, is to build other companies, build other people.
So I like that you do that. I noticed, you have managing partners and you really live this philosophy, building with other people, right?
Yes.
So you have a whole range of different things you're building. Is there one particular one that's on your list? I got to get into this market. I got to tap into this market.
Well, we started a fintech company, which is basically a credit card that you can get your payroll downloaded to. It can match up with your time and attendance system. That one I really feel is it could be a monster company.
Right.
And it could be a special company. I mean, some of the other stuff we've done is very traditional, but it's actually been wildly successful.
Right.
But that's our first crack at fintech. It's going to be an app. It's going to be.
That's amazing.
I mean, it's already under production. I mean, it's already a functioning business, but it's not at full capacity.
Right.
So that one I'm excited about. But you know what? I don't even know, man. I get so many ideas pitched to me all the time.
Yeah.
I try to go through them all.
Yeah.
They're usually not great.
I was just going to say, when you get on Dragon's Den, I'm sure that's going to be even more which is great. I think that is a good place to be when you're looking to help other entrepreneurs and build into other businesses, and then you all grow.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a great way to do it.
Yeah, I think that's the key.
Yeah, and if you're seeing that person is passionate about what they're doing, then
they can do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're passionate and you have that desire and that resilience, it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Right.
You could be selling paint.
Yeah.
It's going to go well.
It's true.
It's going to go well. It's just sometimes you get guys off flash. The product is so cool. It's the next wave, but they're not going to give it 100%. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. I once heard that I can't remember who said it, but they invest in people, not the ideas.
100%. That
Yeah.
you have to.
So is there a person like that you see, like, is there something about a person that you're looking for when you kind of look at these things?
Well, usually, you know what? There's almost self-qualifying things that you go through. When first of all, when someone has, they've reached some level of success. So it can't be someone who just started working for you.
Right.
Maybe someone that's worked for you for a few years, has done a great job, and is ready to go to the next level. That's usually a sign. Someone that's got some money, like they're not looking for 100% investment. Maybe they're looking for 50. I got 50 grand. You got 50 grand. Something like that.
Right.
Like those are things that you can weed out who are more serious and who are less serious. Right. So I mean, there are indicators, and sometimes the person just has, like they got it. And they're going to be it. So you want to get in early with them.
Yes.
Because they're going to go. They're on the elevator. They're going up. Yeah.
Yeah, you can sense that.
You can sense
when
that.
you're speaking to those people, you could usually be like,
It's going to blow.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk about your why.
Yeah, sure.
I know you've kind of touched on it throughout,
Yeah.
but like, what is your defining why? Like, why do you, like, what wakes you up and you go, this is what I got to do today, and this is what I got to do tomorrow. Like, this is why I'm doing this.
I mean, my why for me has really, it came from a place where, there wasn't much expected of us. We've already absolutely destroyed any expectation
100%,
anyone's ever thought of us, right?
Yeah.
But it's still, in some strange way, I have an underdog mentality. I believe like DJ Khaled, they don't believe in us, It's so funny, but I actually can relate to him. Like, even though he's wildly successful, I actually know how that feels. Like, they still don't believe in us, And that's been what's motivated me. You know what? And almost to prove them wrong, to, do more than anyone thought you ever would.
Yeah.
Right? That's always been a driving force in my life.
When you get your name on the Forbes list,
that's it.
You're going to remember this moment. This is going to be the defining moment, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm going to take it.
But this is what's going to happen. I'm going to be on it, and I'm going to be like, well, I'm not on the cover. I'm not on the cover.
we gotta let them know that has to come together.
Why'd they put that Saudi king on the cover?
That's it, right? No, I love that.
Yeah, I already know I'm going to complain about that. I already know I'm going to say that.
That, you know what? You're a visionary. I see that. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. So your parents they moved back to Egypt, or they're still here?
So now what they do is they do like a 6-month on and off.
Okay, my parents. Yeah. It's a thing.
So they kind of are here.
The
in
winters
summer,
were never
and
for them.
In the winter, they always hated it. They always hated it. Yeah. So they're back and forth.
That's amazing. How proud are they?
Look, you know what? They're kind of from that same place. They're proud, but they are a little superstitious. So they don't want to talk.
That's why I'm asking.
They don't want to
Do they
big
ever
up
say it
too
to you?
much.
Like,
Yeah, of course.
That's amazing.
But again, it's just our culture. Like, you can never be too open about it, or something's gonna happen.
Be careful. Yeah.
Something's gonna happen.
It's wild, right? Like, you've built like $1 billion company, and it's still like
yeah. At any moment now, it's like unstable. Yeah.
No,
but that's how
I get it. My dad's like
my
that
mom's
too.
worse than my dad.
Yeah.
They're both pretty bad. Yeah.
You know what? I didn't understand it as a kid. My dad and my mom used to say the same things, right? And I never understood it. And then as you grow and you kind of experience even the small doses of successes, right? And then there's the downhill moments.
Yes.
And you're just like, holy crap. That's when I realized, this is what they mean. Because it's if you didn't celebrate so high, and when you drop, it doesn't feel like,
that's right.
So my dad always says, keep it balanced.
That's right. I think that's the angle. Yeah.
And I took that with me after the first experience. I was like, oh man, I'm not feeling this again. And that's how you learn, right? It's 100%. Like, you learn the hard way, unfortunately. So no, that's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. So we're gonna get into a lighter, mode here. I'm gonna ask you some fun questions.
Okay.
Favorite food?
My favorite food is a traditional Egyptian dish. It's called kushari.
I've never had it.
No,
I must eat it.
But it's like rice, lentils, frizzled onions, macaroni, hot sauce. You could put meat in it. I know it's just like stuff piled on top of food, but
is there a spot in Toronto?
You know what? If you go to, it's called Mazza on the Danforth.
Okay.
They've got it really good. Even here on Lawrence, there's a bunch of restaurants because this is like little little Lebanon here, right?
Oh,
like
okay, okay.
So like Lawrence and Warden, Lawrence and Pharmacy, a lot of Arab restaurants there.
Good to know.
You can get it there, but that's a traditional Egyptian food, and it's my favorite.
It's your absolute favorite.
And only my mom makes it right.
Oh no!
It's one of those. It's one of those.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Only my mom can do it properly.
So when
know?
she's here, that's like a repeat.
No, and she brings a supply, so I can just heat it up when I need it. Yeah.
I love that. That's cool. So that's your absolute favorite.
Favorite food. Yeah.
Got to try it. Okay. A favorite country to visit.
You know what? My favorite country to visit. It's tough because I really enjoy Turkey.
Okay.
I was in Istanbul.
I've never been, but I really
Turkey
need
is
to
really
go.
nice. Because you know what? Turkey gives you a bit of both.
Okay.
It gives you that cultural Eastern vibe that if you want to learn something, go to like a historical mosque or temple or a shrine or
Right.
something. But it also gives you it gives you that Western vibe. You know what? You can party, you can have fun. So I really love Turkey. It's fun to take the kids. They loved it.
Okay.
But I think maybe my favorite place might be the Greek islands.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like just taking a boat through those islands.
Yeah.
And you go like, Santorini and Mykonos and stuff. Those are really nice.
Anything in particular about them?
It's just beautiful. Like, just the visual geography.
Okay. I didn't know if it was being on a boat that was like the part that you liked, or like it was the scenic part.
It's the scenery. Like
Okay.
the scenery of Greece. It's like the water is like turquoise. The
Yeah,
beaches are perfect. The little white houses all over the
Yeah,
mountains,
yeah.
like speckled all over the mountain. It's like
Amazing.
nowhere else in the world. Like Italy's a bit like that, but I think Greece is
the magic
unbelievable.
for
Yeah.
you?
But Turkey has the culture, like that
Yeah,
vibe.
So it's split.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
split.
yeah.
We'll do both.
Yeah.
Okay. What are some hobbies you have?
Hobbies. Okay, so I like poker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know what?
Okay. I don't know how to play. I don't know why
it's
I
tough.
sound like that. Okay.
It's tough. It's tough. Like I just kind of got into it recently, like maybe like a year or so.
Okay.
But like it took me forever to understand all the terminology. But now when you get it,
Yeah.
I love it, and it's a great time pass. You can play
Are
with
you
your
good
buddies.
at it? Because I'm seeing how like you're full of
I'm getting better.
expressions, and I'm like, how do you do the poker face?
No, I'm not good at poker face. No, people know when I got a good card because when I got a good hand, I don't say anything. I'm like, oh shit,
Because you're trying.
I'm trying to be cool, trying to maintain
That's
my
why
composure.
I'm asking. You're sweating.
Yeah. Why are you sweating there, Sam? You got 2 aces?
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, but you
Okay.
know what? You're right. I don't got a good poker face, but I like poker. I just like throwing those chips and
Yeah.
and I watch the kids. They sweat too. They get nervous. Yeah, and it's
That's
fun.
awesome.
I like that. I like watching movies.
Okay.
I watch old movies.
Favorite movie?
Favorite, probably The Matrix,
Oh, okay.
Gladiator,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah, those
Yeah.
are my favorites. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those are
Yeah.
classics.
Well, yeah, kind of like that.
Classics. Movies. Just relaxing.
Yeah.
Relaxing
for
stuff.
sure.
Okay. Last question. If you could be anywhere in this world right now, where would it be?
If I could be anywhere in this world, I think I'll be right here.
Yeah.
I'll be right here in Scarborough, with my friends and my family building this company.
This question always amazes me because most of the entrepreneurs, all the athletes, coaches, extraordinaires, artists, everybody I ask, this is what they say.
Same thing.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah, they say it's what they've created. Like that's
Okay,
where
so
they
I'm going to
should-
change it. I'd rather be in Zimbabwe. No.
No, but it shows like, the love. I
That's
guess,
what it
you
is.
know?
Yeah, because that's where the love is. It's everyone loves what they've created. And you want to be in that space.
Yeah.
So like where you've done this is where your favorite place is. It's not necessarily a real place.
Yeah.
It's where you've built what you've
Right.
built, right? But yeah, I'm sure for athletes it's where they
Where
they grew up, where they play, things like that.
exactly.
Yeah, for
No,
sure.
that's amazing.
Awesome.
Sam, thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I've learned so much. I know everybody that's watching.
I'll find out when it airs.
Yeah, please do. And good luck with the education. I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
That is honestly amazing because I have 2 kids and, we teach them. I like to teach them the real world. My husband and I are very proactive in this approach.
Yes.
And I think, having things like that set up around the city really kind of helps the next generation. That's exactly it. They're not looking for other things like when there's things like that available to them.
Yes. Exactly.
So,
That's the idea.
And I love the fact that you're very hands-on with the basketball, the shooting stars, like all the playground, all the things you're doing. Because my son actually had a game, I think, in Oshawa at one of the locations, and that's how I was like, oh
probably
wow,
Durham.
and
Durham playground,
and it
yeah.
was packed.
Packed. How old is he?
10.
He's 10. Okay, so he plays for like a U11 team or something? Yeah, what team name?
Competitive Sports Academy.
Comparative
CSA?
Yes, CSA.
Yeah.
Yes. They're good. Good program.
Yeah.
Good program.
They're
Yeah.
good. They're amazing. Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out CSA. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. Like, I see what they do, and it's more than basketball, you know? Like,
Yeah.
what they've incorporated, what they teach, amazing, just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice to see, like, all sides of the effort, you know?
Yeah.
Not just from, like, this side, but, like, having these facilities available. They're always packed. It's insane.
Unbelievable.
It is. My
Yeah.
brother also, who plays, like, I don't even know where he goes, but every day it's somewhere else. And,
Yeah.
you know, so I think, you know, it keeps the kids off the streets.
You know what? It keeps them off the street, and the kids aren't. It's not like how when we were young, when we just kind of roam around and knock on our buddies' doors and see if they're home and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
it's different. You know, you're on your bike and
yeah.
Yeah.
Like now the streets are unforgiving now. You know what? You don't
Yeah.
want to be on those streets. Like
No.
before, when you were a kid on the
It's
streets,
true.
that's how you saw your buddies. Like
Yeah.
there was no other way.
Yeah.
You would just knock on
it's
their
a different
doors.
time.
But now it's bad. Like
Yeah.
it is a Jimmy. Like I mean, we go outside there every day. Someone's got their window smashed open. You know,
Yeah.
it's just
Scary.
it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
It's definitely gotten worse. More
Any
bold.
interest in opening up? I'm asking because my daughter plays tennis, so I have to ask.
Yeah.
Is there any interest in opening up other facilities, possibly for tennis, pickleball, which is huge right now?
Well, the basketball courts double for volleyball and even pickleball.
Okay,
So
I do remember seeing that in
Pickleball
Oshawa.
goes, Pickleball is I don't even get it. Like it's a new phenomenon.
I don't get it either.
Like, no, seriously, right? Like,
I know.
Like pickleball has blown up.
Yeah.
And and it's the only sport that I can think of that started with old people and now young people are getting into it. It's not the reverse, you know?
It's fun. I think it's just like
Everyone loves it. Like I got friends, you know, they're in their 60s, and you know what? They spend their afternoons playing pickleball.
Yeah.
You know, and then I played it. I played
Yeah.
pickleball. Crazy.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
And it just keeps you on your toes, right?
On your
So,
toes. Yeah. But you're not moving around like tennis. Tennis is too much.
Yes.
Tennis, you're starting and stopping.
Agreed.
Yeah. But pickleball, volleyball, basketball.
Okay, so you have those.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
eventually maybe.
Maybe tennis. Why not? Yeah. The next Serena on our hands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed that they're putting up so many tennis courts in all of like the GTA, right, which is
Really?
the Greater Toronto area.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going up everywhere. So it's like, okay, it's cool, but they're outdoors. So what
I
happens
know.
in the winter? Like,
Exactly.
can somebody build it? I don't know.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
maybe that's
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, but thank you. It's
Thank
been
you.
such a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.